This is a demo of the latest version of CaptionHub Connect, which reflects the current state and UI that we've released. Looking at my screen on the left-hand side here is the client view or window. The client is the user and team initiating project creation. They're the team that needs transcription and or translation work done. On the right-hand side is the vendor view. This is the team that will deliver the needed or requested transcriptions and or translations from client. The use case for Connect in this demo example is that the client, again here on the left side, has a project which has a number of translations. You see here that they want their vendor to work on. In order to access the CaptionHub Connect feature within the UI as expected, both client and vendor teams will need to have a Connect relationship on the CaptionHub system. Please do reach out to your CaptionHub account manager or solutions engineer who can set this connection up for you. To initiate a request as a client, I'll go ahead and select either all languages, which is a bulk action, or a number of languages that I want to send to the vendor for translating. And to initiate that, I will ensure that I've selected the languages I want and choose the CaptionHub Connect button here. In this view, I will want to select the vendor that I want to send these captions to, along with any briefing notes or comments here. This method works particularly well for clients who are sending over a large volume of projects, but we also have the option to click on an individual language to be translated. To do that, I'll navigate to this particular language, Arabic in this case, and choose Send to Vendor. Again, I will want to choose the vendor from the drop-down and include any notes in the brief. And then I'll hit Submit. Once I've done so, you'll see that for Arabic, the CaptionHub Connect status has changed to Request Sent to Gold Media LSP. Again, that's my vendor. Do note that as a client, once a CaptionHub Connect request has been made, the client team is not able to edit or interact with the captions, and you see that when trying to select into a caption, you get this messaging. Returning to my Translations tab, once I as the client have sent a CaptionHub Connect request to the vendor, users on the vendor team will be notified via email of the Connect request. The vendor will then see it appear in their project page, and you can see that by refreshing here. The vendor can also see other CaptionHub Connect requests by navigating to the team's menu cog, navigating into the CaptionHub Connect page, where all requests from clients will be listed here. Now, returning to my Projects tab, I am going to move into this project. I'll navigate into the Translations tab. I will choose Requested by Gold Media, which presents the vendor with the request from the client. So I, as the vendor, now have the option to either accept the request and begin working on the translations, or I can reject the request, which will send the captions back to the client. So to see how a project moves through CaptionHub Connect successfully, let's go ahead and accept this request. I'll then be able to navigate into the caption editor and begin working on making any edits that I need to along the way. Once you've made any edits to the translations and decided that you're happy that the captions are ready for the client, you'll want to navigate back to the Translations tab and click on the Accepted Request from Vendor link here. This will show you the option to either withdraw from the request or submit the translations back to the client for their approval. Withdrawing from the request signals to the client that you're not able to process the Connect request, and once either of these options are selected, your vendor team won't be able to work on the captions any longer. Let's go ahead and submit these to the client, like so. The client now sees that the translations have been submitted by the vendor, and they have the option to review the submission from Gold Media LSP. Once the client has had a chance to properly review the submitted work from the vendor by navigating into the caption editor, they'll want to action on the CaptionHub Connect request. To do this, they'll select the Review Submission link here, which presents a couple of options. At this point, the client can return the submission. This will send the captions back with any changes that the client made reflected. They can also accept the submission. Accepting the submission from the vendor means that the project is finished and the client can now move on to render their captions, as well as publish or export their project. To close out this request, I will accept this submission, select Submit, and you'll see that the status is now showing that I have accepted the translation submitted by the vendor.